Hi everyone, happy Monday. I hope you enjoyed saying hello to Mac while I finished preparing for the live stream. Uh-oh, now he's behind me digging. He always likes to get in trouble out here while I'm on the live stream. So welcome to the week. Hope you guys are having a great start to your week, and hopefully that time change did not throw you guys off. It was really nice having that extra hour of sleep that first night, but I'm telling you guys, it's really tough when it gets dark an hour earlier. So I know those of you who are up north, Cliff was saying earlier in the live or in the chat, pre-live stream chat, that it gets dark around 5 o'clock once you approach the longest day of the year in December. So it's pretty crazy. And for some reason, once it gets dark, I always feel like I'm tired and I want to go to bed early or something. So hopefully it didn't throw you guys off. But here we are on a Monday once again. I want to welcome you guys. Today we're going to talk about growing vegetables in the winter in any climate. Going to give you some tips today on how you can grow veggies inside and outside and have lots of different options to keep on growing those fresh veggies all winter long. Because just because it's fall and getting into winter time, we don't want to stop growing. So I want to welcome everyone, and let me just take a moment to say hello to those of you in the chat. Thank you so much for coming to join me this morning, spending time with me. I know you have a lot of other things you could be doing on a Monday afternoon. So yeah, I'm sorry, Angela, I did mean the shortest day of the year, absolutely. I'm thinking about the longest day of the year still, way back in the summertime. And we actually always count down from December 21st all the way up until the time changes once again, because we love it when we can be outside all evening long. And it's just so much fun to be outdoors in the warm weather. So hello, Tommy, how are you? Thanks for joining me today. And yes, Cliff, thank you very much. Any first time people in the chat here, let us know. Special welcome to you. Hello from Randy Ramirez. How are you doing today? And Kim, how are you? Matt, come here, come here. Yeah, he's just wandering around back there getting in trouble. How are you doing, Kim? Great to see you from the Virgin Islands, Yogi Gardens. Hello. Angela, welcome. Elvis, love your hair. Thank you very much. Brittany Hertz is here, and she's saying, peas are my favorite. I'm worried I'm going to run out of seeds already. Yeah, I plant a ton of peas, and I'm hoping this week to be able to get some planted. We've got a few warm days still in the high 80s and 90s, and then it's supposed to be in the 60s and 70s for about a week or so. So super excited about that. Hello, Stephen Hunt from Canada, Jill from Sacramento, Jennifer saying hi all, Darlene's Garden Channel. How are you doing today, Darlene? Welcome. And let's jump right into our tips. Now, I also do want to hear from you guys about your winter gardening tips. As you guys know, here in Southern California, as I've shared many times here on the live stream and in our YouTube videos, we rarely get a frost. So I don't have a ton of experience growing in super cold weather like I know a lot of you guys do out there, but I have gathered together some tips for Southern gardeners, for Northern gardeners, and I want to hear from you guys too. So let's jump right in. And our very first tip, oh, before I forget, you guys, I'm sorry, I don't want to forget to tell you that on November, see, I'm thrown off by the time change here. On November 16th and 23rd, we will not be live streaming. We're taking a couple of week break, having a little construction done around the house, and taking a week off for Thanksgiving. So mark your calendars, no live stream on Monday, November 16th, and Monday, November 23rd. We will be back to our regular Monday schedule on Monday, November 30th. So make sure that you mark your calendars. Sorry, I've got a piece of hair in my mouth. And we're taking a little break, but we'll be back strong then on the 30th. Okay, first tip for growing in the wintertime in any climate. And number one is grow under cover. All right, there's a lot of things you can grow under cover, and especially if you have the right type of cover, even in very cold winter climates. So a couple really simple covers that you can do to extend your growing season. And most often it's very helpful if you already have some plants established in your garden before it gets super cold, and then you can extend your growing season just a little bit with some cover. So a couple really simple things that you can use, and these are good to use in the springtime to set plants out early, or in the winter time for simple little covers for your vegetables. This is just a little, or actually a gallon-sized water bottle that I cut the top off. You can put this over small seedlings. You can also use like a milk jug. You can use a water bottle for very small seedlings. One thing that I'll use if we're going to get really cold nights to us here is usually in the 40s or 30s. Occasionally we get a night in the 20s, but we haven't had that for a couple years because we haven't had frost here for a couple of years. So one thing you can also do to grow under cover is just grab some plastic storage bins. This will work well for larger plants, especially if you have a larger tub, and you can just put it right over your plants, especially if you have a little garden bed full of lettuce or greens that aren't like super big. These tubs work very, very well for them. Another thing that works well is doing little row covers or garden bed covers. And a super easy way to do this is just take a piece of the thicker type of plastic, which you can get pretty much at any hardware store, and then fashion it into a cover for your garden bed. So right behind me here is the brand new urban raised bed. Did you guys love that video yesterday where we put that? Well, we didn't show putting it together, but we showed planting in it. It is such an amazing new raised bed that's going to be out in the spring of 2021, and it's from Smart Pot, so it's a fabric raised bed, great drainage, great oxygen for the roots. But what you can do is just put a stake in each corner, and then you can clip it down to the edges and to the stakes with just some of the little jaw clips, and it makes a really quick, easy winter cover. So those are some really simple ideas. Some more involved ideas that you might want to do, especially if you live in a climate where you get very, very cold, is you can fashion little hoop houses with like PVC pipes in your garden beds. You can string the PVC pipes through like a piece of rebar, and then put some type of a thick cover over it, even a couple layers of this plastic, along with like maybe a thick garden quilt or blanket of some sort, and that will just add that extra layer of protection for your vegetables. So those are a couple really simple, easy ways to fashion row covers. Now, if you want to get really fancy, you can make some like cold frames. A lot of people that live like in the northern or really colder areas can make cold frames out of even like a window that you can put on hinges and put over your garden bed. That involves a little bit more construction. It's a little bit above what I would know how to do myself, but if you're handy or your spouse is handy or your partner is handy, they may be able to do that for you, and you can grow under cold frames in your garden. So that gives you a couple ideas of how to grow outside under cover. And if you're approaching cold weather, I would definitely recommend trying one of those things. And I would love to hear some more suggestions. A lot of you I know do grow in cold climates in the winter, and I would love to hear what you do for frost protection for your vegetables in the winter time. So let's share in the chat here, and we'll hear some great ideas, I'm sure. Okay, Nicole, a cold frame. I need to make one. Kim just took the words out of my mouth. Okay, yeah, Nicole, I would love to hear how you make one, what you do to make it simple, or maybe you make it involved if you're really good at that kind of thing. And send me a picture either to my email or post it on Instagram and tag me or DM me. I would love to hear and see a picture of your cold frame. Okay, camera guy is here in the chat joining us on his lunch, so welcome. Glad that he's here. And I think he got some really great shots in yesterday's video. So if you guys did not watch that, we finally were able to plant our fall garden out in the Smart Pots urban raised bed. And I think it just looks so pretty. The colors, I've really been trying to plant some bright flowers too, like the mums that you see behind me, the purple and the white mums. Still have some marigolds going, and I really love the color pop in the garden. And camera guy did a great job of capturing that yesterday in the video. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you go back and watch, and you can see how easy it is to get those fall veggies planted, especially if you're still in if you live in the South and you're in a southern climate. There's plenty of time to grow cool weather vegetables. The winter time is really the best time to grow those in a southern climate. So let me know if you're planting any of those and how you liked the Smart Pots urban raised bed. I know so far I'm really enjoying it. It's very, very sturdy, and it's going to be a great little spot to grow in. And Cliff just posted a link. Thank you so much, Cliff. I do have a video on how to make a really easy winter cover. So you can go back and watch that video for more details. So I'm seeing here that Yogi Gardens, hi Yogi, how you doing today? Is saying that build the hoop houses out of PVC and also one bed. I use a cattle panel to make the hoop. So great idea, Yogi, and that's a great idea if you have a larger space. We actually did that a few years ago, so I'm glad that you are doing that too, and that it really works. You can use a cattle panel and then put your plastic cover over it for just that little extra bit of protection. Now, it's not going to keep it warm like on winter nights. It's not going to heat up or anything like that, but it will just give it that extra layer of protection. And we'll talk just a moment about what types of vegetables that you can grow. Okay, here's from Elvis Smith. James Provoni Garden Channel has some great videos on making cold frames. Thank you very much. I'm glad for that referral there, Elvis. I used to keep bugs out and shade when it gets hot. Okay, great tip. So yeah, definitely do a search on YouTube. There's a lot of great videos out there for how to make cold frames. And one thing I forgot to mention, if you are growing or covering your plants with something like this, or a storage tub, please, please, please make sure that you take it off during the day, especially if you live in an area where you might get a light frost, but then it warms up during the daytime. Because if you don't take that plastic cover off, then unfortunately, once the sun hits it, your plants are gonna fry. So just make sure you set a timer on your phone or some kind of reminder so that you don't go through coming out halfway through the day and your plants are just all keeled over. Okay, so let's see if anybody else is offering up any tips here in the chat or has any questions. And then we'll move on to our second tip. Okay, Rosary is saying, if you cover, how do the bees pollinate? Well, here in our climate, if I do have to cover, which I don't very often, then I will remove the covers during the day. So I would definitely recommend pretty much in any climate, unless you're going to be down in the sub-zero temperatures, which you probably won't have a lot of bees out in the winter climate anyway, that you do remove those covers during the day to allow the insects to fly around. And usually it's not completely tight so that you can get some insect activity in there as well. Okay, this is a question from Master Hacker, CaliKim. Can I start spring garden now indoors from Dubai? Okay, thank you first of all for watching all the way from Dubai. And as I understand the weather in Dubai, it's pretty warm there year round. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you do have some times where you get cooler. But you really want to look at the types of vegetables that you plant. So spring garden typically has warm weather vegetables, such as in the spring garden seed collection. So if it's warm there between 60 and 90 degrees, you want to start those warm weather vegetables, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, eggplant, all detailed out in my book, Organic Gardening for Everyone. If you do have a cooler season, and you can start those 6 to 8 weeks, I know you don't get a frost in Dubai, but you can start those 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date. And if you're in the cool season though, definitely plant some cool season vegetables, which do well in 75 degrees or under. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of info on how to get those warm weather, how and when to get those warm weather vegetables started. So let's jump in. And Cliff, thank you for posting the link for the weekend video. Appreciate that. I am located, in Josie B, okay. All right, let's see here. Second tip is, and this is very important, is that to grow veggies in the winter in any climate, you definitely want to make sure that you're growing the right types of vegetables. So for most of us in the wintertime, you want to grow those cool season vegetables like we planted yesterday back here in the urban raised bed. So those will be all the veggies that you'll find in my fall garden seed collection. Do I have one of those here? Yes, I do. I have a fall garden seed collection. Oh, and I am running a sale. Today is the last day, 25% off site-wide at CaliKim Garden and Home with the code SPOOKY, kind of for Halloween, with the code SPOOKY, and that includes all of my seed book bundles, my new book, Organic Garden. Well, it's not so new anymore, but Organic Gardening for Everyone, which will give you all the cool weather and the warm weather vegetables all detailed out. So this will have a good list of what you can grow in the cool season. So make sure you take advantage of that sale. Today is the very, very last day. So Yogi, today is a great day for you to head over to my website and pick up a signed copy because you'll get 25% off. So the most important thing is when you're growing in the wintertime, make sure that you grow the right types of vegetables. You want to grow cool weather vegetables that thrive in cooler temperatures. A lot of them are even frost tolerant from the fall garden seed collection. So if they're established and then you get a frost, they're not completely going to die off as long as it's a fairly light frost. And that way you can continue to grow those vegetables and even put some of them under cover like we just mentioned and keep on harvesting them throughout the winter. Now don't expect to grow tomatoes or cucumbers when you're getting into the 60s, 50s during the day like we do in California. You might be able to overwinter a couple of things like that here and there, but keep it simple and make it easy on yourself and grow the right vegetables for the right season. So some great ones are broccoli. We planted cabbage back here. We planted what's it called? Collard greens back here, which are heat tolerant and cold tolerant. Greens are a fabulous, fabulous thing to grow in the wintertime. We planted some lettuce. So I would just get all those greens planted as much as you can, especially in southern climates. You can plant them outdoors right now from seed. Very, very easy to start from seed once the temperatures drop under 80. Radishes, Yogi just mentioned radishes, cabbages, onions, collards, and kale in zone 6B. So all those are great cool weather vegetables. Peas are a wonderful, super easy cool weather vegetable to grow. So if you've still got those temperatures, you know, above freezing, you can, usually like in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the peas will really thrive, but they will tolerate a frost. So definitely don't forget those peas, Yogi. You don't want to forget those. So plant the cool season crops, which you will save a ton of time and worry. You're not going to get a tomato to grow. One thing that's super fun is to grow a little salad in a container. And I have a whole kit that you can pick up on my website that has the smart pots, the 5-gallon smart pots, the seeds, all the directions are right here on the packaging, and you can grow it inside or outside. And we'll talk about indoor gardening in just a moment, but it makes it super, super easy. So yes, definitely watch my videos on how to start seeds for your fall garden. Not too late if you're in a spring, or if you're in a spring climate, if you're in a southern climate, to get some started. That's, oh yes, beets. Thank you, Irene. That's probably one of the questions I get asked the most is, I live in California, I live in Arizona. Is it too late to start a fall garden? And absolutely not. It's nice and cool in the wintertime, and it's a great time to grow. So yeah, Tommy, I see, is growing beans in Southern California right now. Yeah, we've had a really warm fall. So it could be that you're still gonna have some of those warm weather crops. Hang on, ride the wave, and keep on harvesting them until the weather gets too cold. So definitely enjoy that. Rutabaga. So yeah, that would be a great thing to grow in the winter months as well in a southern climate. Green beans, Vicky, are a warm weather vegetable. So once the temperatures drop down below, I'd say 70s, 60s, they're not going to do too well. They won't tolerate frost. And pick up a copy of my book, because it's going to detail out for you cool weather and warm weather vegetables, so that you have a list right here handy to take out with you in the garden, or just for some good winter reading. And by the way, you guys, don't forget to pick up some Christmas gifts. Shipping is going to be a little crazy this year. Things are definitely going to take longer to ship the closer we get to Christmas. So if you're looking for gifts for the gardeners on your list, we've got lots of great little bundles and books and containers and all kinds of things that you can grab for your gardener friends. So let me hear, you guys have been sharing some of your favorite cool weather crops. Let's head back in the chat, see if there's any questions or you have any other suggestions for cool weather crops. And Yvonne, I saw your question there. Have you experienced squirrels messing with your carrot seedlings? Okay, yes, I certainly have. We've had a big issue with squirrels this summer and into the fall. They've been eating my tomatoes, definitely nibbling on just about any little thing that's coming up. So my carrots got taken out by the heat and also got taken out by the squirrels. So Mac's been out here chasing them away. We've been covering up what we can. But we're just gonna have to keep on planting and replant, and then hopefully cover as they sprout. But yeah, squirrels are just a really tough one. If you guys have a great suggestion for squirrels, please let me know. Okay, Jennifer, neem oil in the winter. Absolutely, you can use neem oil in the winter. Do you use it? We're having lots of moth caterpillars eating stuff. Absolutely, there's no reason why you can't use neem oil in the wintertime. You probably don't want to spray your outdoor vegetables when it's getting ready to frost or freeze. So you may want to do it first thing in the morning for you southern gardeners. Northern gardeners, you're going to have to keep an eye on the weather, but there's no reason why you can't use the organic pest control, which includes neem, peppermint, and rosemary oils during the wintertime. I don't have as many pest issues in the winter, but I still will use it if it's necessary. Okay, let's see any other questions here in the chat. Just keep on planting. Yeah, don't give up. I think I'm on my 3rd round of radishes. The weather's been so up and down. It got cold, they sprouted, it got hot, they died. So we're gonna be planting another one. And it's just part of gardening. You know what, you guys, just expect the challenges. It's gonna happen, and have some little tips in your back pocket, like we're talking about today, to help you with those challenging times, and then you won't be so disappointed when things do happen. Okay, let's talk about the last, no, not the last one. Tip number 3 for growing in the wintertime in almost any climate. And that would be grow in a sheltered location. So a lot of times, if you can put some containers up against like a fence, up against the wall of your house, maybe a spot where it gets, I know we've got a fence right back here where it gets nice and warm because the sun hits it in the morning. It's much more sheltered from the wind. It kind of has its own little microclimate going. So if you can put some of your containers up against a sheltered location and work together maybe with some row covers, make sure you're planting those frost tolerant vegetables, and that can really, really help you grow and extend your growing season throughout the winter months. So that will definitely help. One thing that you want to do is go back and watch the Container Garden series for a lot of tips for growing in containers. You can use shade cloth for those random warm days that you southern gardeners might get, and then continue to use the row covers and things like that that we just talked about for you northern gardeners. So that's your 3rd little tip. First one, grow under cover. Second one, grow cool season and frost tolerant vegetables. And 3rd one, grow in a sheltered location. You might even want to move some of your containers that you're going to overwinter into your garage. You can overwinter a lot of different vegetables like peppers, eggplant, just by pruning them back. Your strawberries will also overwinter. So you can either dig things up, put them in your in containers, stick them in your garage, keep them barely moist over the winter time. They'll be dormant, and then you can move them back outside as the weather warms up. So definitely helps you overwinter some of your vegetables so that you can get harvest fairly quickly in the springtime. Okay, let me see in the chat here what other questions you have. And we can answer questions or comments, and I'd love to hear more of your tips as well. Okay, journey to the other side. All of my pots and the raised beds have chicken wire around them, safe from the squirrels. Okay, that's a great idea. That also helps with bunnies, especially when your seedlings are first coming up. If you put that chicken wire over, like if I were to put that over the raised bed, the bunnies don't like to walk on that, and so they'll stay away. So great tip there. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Cliff sharing the link for the lettuce salad and container kit definitely makes a great Christmas gift, you guys. It comes with the book as well, a signed copy, and you can let me know who you want it personalized for by sending me an email, and then I'll sign and personalize it and send it directly to the person that you want to give the gifts to. So you can't get much easier than that. Okay, question here from Brittany. How you doing, Brittany? For tall vining plants, would you drape the plastic sheeting over the trellis too? A milk jug won't cut it for those. Okay, definitely. You can either get a big piece of plastic, or depending on how thick of a cover you need, you can get like a plastic quilt. Not a plastic quilt, an old quilt or a sheet, drape a couple of them over it. Or even what you can do is stick a tomato cage over your plants. Doesn't necessarily have to be a tomato, and then cover it with a piece of plastic or a sheet or an old quilt as well. So yeah, definitely do that. No, this will not work for all plants. It will only work for small ones. For example, I could stick it over the plants I have right back here. I could put over a little pot of lettuce, but you definitely want to experiment and then adjust it for your garden size. Okay, Nicole, that's right, keep planting. That's one thing I have learned the most about gardening, is to keep on planting and save your own seeds. So great tip, Nicole. You can definitely save a lot of money. There's so many different ways you can plant. Quick, simple, inexpensive. By saving your seeds is a great way to do that. You saw in yesterday's video, we recycled and repurposed some of our soil. Good dirt soil can be planted in over and over. So you might make that initial investment and then save all your soil. Don't throw it out. Repurpose it and then just fill it up, fill it up about a third of the way or half of the way, and then fill it up the rest of the way with some fresh nutrients. So definitely a lot of ways that you can save money as you garden. Okay, Master Hacker, do you deliver seeds to Dubai? Right now, we are not shipping to Dubai. I'll have to look into that, see if that's available. We did just open up shipping to London or to the UK and to Australia again. The USPS was kind of all messed up from the coronavirus, so we've just opened that up. So if you live in Australia or the UK, we can do that, as well as Canada and of course the US. And I will have to look into Dubai to see if that area is open to ship seeds to. So thank you so much. I appreciate your interest, and I will check into that and then get back to you. Okay, Gina, last spring it got quite cold and I protected my cucumbers with a large terracotta upside down cover. So that's a great idea. So even in the springtime, you might get your plants out in the garden and then all of a sudden you get a cold night. So these tips can also apply to early spring gardening as well, to protect your young seedlings from frost in the spring. So great tip, Gina. Thank you so much. Okay, let me talk about tip number 4, because this is one of my very favorite things to do in the wintertime. It's so much fun and it really makes it possible for anyone in any climate, hot or cold, north or south, no matter what part of the world you're in, to grow vegetables pretty much any time of the year, but especially in the wintertime when you just can't get outside, or maybe you don't want to grow outside because it's way too cold to go out there. If you're getting into the negative degree temperatures or into the teens, you might not be too excited to go outside and harvest your lettuce under your row cover or your cold frame. But what you can do is grow inside. It is so much easier to grow inside than you ever thought possible. And I want to challenge you all to give it a try. Super easy crops to grow inside is lettuce. Grow it right here in this CaliKim 5-gallon smart pots. You can grow it, pop it under a grow light. There's very easy ways to set grow lights up. You can go back and look up on our YouTube channel of super easy, inexpensive grow lights. But one of my favorite things to grow right on the windowsill, and if you guys saw my Instagram post over the weekend, you know what it is, and that is microgreens, because you do not even need a grow light. If you have a windowsill with even a little bit of indirect sunlight, you do not even need a grow light to grow microgreens. So these are absolutely beautiful. These are from the microgreen seed collection. There's 9 varieties. And the cool thing about this is, you guys, you can get a harvest in under a week. And I am not kidding you. I wanted to challenge you guys to try it. So all you have to do is just sprinkle some seeds on top of a container. You don't even need a huge container. This one happens to be maybe 6 inches or so deep. But if you have one a couple inches deep, it works just fine. And then it will grow and sprout, and you can just clip them into your your salads, clip them into your soups on a cold day, on top of your omelets or your eggs, and the flavor is unbelievable. You got tons of flavor packed in these tiny little greens. Very nutrient dense and super fun thing to do with your kids. Give them their own little container and they will absolutely love it. So yeah, they do grow very, very fast. Absolutely. And you guys will love it. And so you want to grab one of the microgreen seed collections and get some started. And so lettuce is one thing, microgreens is a second thing. And then grow some herbs. If you guys saw our herb garden video a couple of weeks ago, you saw that we were growing chives in a little container like this, which I'm growing inside. Basil grows great indoors. You can grab the herb seed collection and plant yourself some herbs. There's nothing like having that fresh flavor in your food. It's really nice to have access to it inside. And I don't know about you guys, but those long winter days, the early dark winter days sometimes kind of get me down, but it's really fun to see that bright green growing on your windowsill. It gives you a lift. Something about seeing the green indoors that always makes me smile. And I tend to just snip and clip them a lot more often if I see them right there on my windowsill. So I highly encourage you to grow lettuce, microgreens, and herbs inside. That's 3 things. And you can watch my indoor garden playlist for all the details. And then I've got seed collections, lettuce, microgreens, and herbs, which you can grab over at CaliKim Garden and Home if you need seeds, and take advantage of the sale, pick some up, and then you'll be growing over the next couple of months. Trust me when I tell you guys, you're gonna be so happy that you did that. Can you tell that I really enjoy growing things indoors in the winter? So see you later, camera guy. He's going back to work. And we'll see you when you get home, honey. Thanks a lot for joining us. So let me know here in the chat if you guys are growing anything inside. I know there's a lot of microgreen fans out there that have grown microgreens with me over the past few years. So I would love to hear what your favorite kind are. Microgreens, I think these are, it might be red mustard or some type of mustard greens. They have a nice spicy little taste. You don't have to use special seeds for microgreens. You can use any easy to germinate seeds. Radishes work well. Arugula works really well. Kale is great for microgreens. So check your seed supply, see if you have any of those. And if you don't, just grab one of my microgreen seed collections and you're gonna absolutely love it. Oh yeah, one thing I just actually picked up on Amazon is these little, they're sticky fly fungus gnat traps. And I don't know why I've never used these before, but I thought they were really cute in the shape of a butterfly. And you can see I've already caught a couple of fungus gnats on here. So I'll try and remember to pop a link for these from Amazon in the video description when this uploads. And having pretty good success with them so far. So it's always good to have a couple of tricks in your back pocket for those fungus gnats. Okay, so Angela is saying, I like radishes as microgreens. They are spicy and add a nice kick to a salad. Couldn't agree more. I absolutely love them and they look so beautiful too. Barb Brownie, hi CaliKim, how you doing, Barb? Nice to have you here today. And Debbie is saying, for some reason, I haven't had a lot of success with microgreens in the past. Try again. So yeah, Debbie, give it another try. One thing that you might be doing that a lot of mistake people make is they cover them too thickly. You barely need to sprinkle them with soil, if even at all. I do found they germinate a little bit better if you just very lightly sprinkle them with soil. And then make sure that you sow them very thickly, sprinkle with a tiny bit of soil, and then keep them moist. Keep the top moist as they're germinating, and hopefully that will help you. Okay, Deborah. Hi, Deborah, or Decebra, sorry. Just started some microgreens from your collection. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate your order. And I know you're going to have a great success and love microgreens. Okay, Sister Marcel, for my indoor garden, my Tiny Tim is sprouting their very first true leaves. Super exciting. Arugula is sprouting and lettuce has about an inch of growth. Crazy how easy those are to grow, right, Sister Marcel? And thank you for bringing up the Tiny Tim. I forgot to mention that. Tiny Tim, if you want to grow a tomato inside, start with the Tiny Tim. It's super easy to grow. It only grows to about 2 feet. It grows beautifully in the CaliKim 5-gallon smart pots. It's my favorite thing to grow it in, actually. All you need is a little grow light. You can use a clamp light. Or any type of grow light that you might have, and it does amazing inside. You can definitely get little Tiny Tim tomatoes to eat in the wintertime. So let me know if you're going to try it. You can grab them along with the smart pots. If you purchase it with the seed collection, it comes with a Tiny Tim, basil, and lettuce. You can grab those. You'll have 3 things to grow inside along with some smart pots. Okay, Brittany. Do you have to keep planting for microgreens? Once you harvest, do they grow back? Really good question, Brittany. You will usually get, after you harvest, make 1 cut, you usually get a second smaller harvest. So I try and keep, kind of succession plant every week or 2. And that way you always have some that are, in different stages so you don't run out of things to harvest. So great question. So smaller harvest on the second go around. See you later, Marie. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Will cats eat the Tiny Tim tomatoes? Chris Brandman. You know what? I don't have a cat, so I don't know. It probably depends on your cat. So if anyone has had any experience with that in the chat, let Chris know. Okay, let's see here. Tiny Tim from Eccentric Homestead, the easiest food producing houseplant. Absolutely. Are Tiny Tims sweet, Jennifer? Yes, they are. They're little, I didn't bring my Tiny Tims here with me today, but they're little tomatoes, cherry size. Sometimes they can be real small, but they're a perfect snacking size, very sweet, very tasty. It's so much fun to just pop them on salads, to just pop them in your mouth for snacks. I like to kind of grab some mozzarella cheese and some basil and just kind of have that for a little snack. Just kind of put it all together on your plate. And there you go. You are all set. Okay, planning to grow butternut squash next spring. That's a great warm weather crop. And question here from April, will bush beans grow inside? April, I have never tried growing bush beans inside, but I don't know why they wouldn't work. I've started them from seed indoors, but I've never grown them all the way to harvest. But you know what? You guys know what I always say, right? Experiment, see what works for you, and then come back and share it with us. I'd say the most important thing is if you're gonna grow bush beans, make sure you have adequate light. So get yourself a good grow light set up and get that going. And I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. Okay, let's see here. The Chadwick cherry from Jennifer here. I have are very savory. I want sweet, so I'm gonna try those Tiny Tims. Okay, great to hear it, and I would love to hear your results. Okay, here from Yvonne, would you ever consider putting Tiny Tim in the tomato seed collection? Yvonne, that's a good point. I may try that. The Tiny Tim seeds are actually quite rare. They're very hard to source. So it really depends on when I can find seeds. Sometimes they're completely out of stock and they are just difficult to source. So we'll have to kind of see about that. By the way, guys, I want you to stay tuned. I do have some new seed collections and new little surprises coming up, hopefully during the month of November, that you guys are not going to want to miss, to help you grow throughout the winter and into the spring. So definitely stay tuned. You want to follow me on Instagram because that's probably where I'll first make the announcement, possibly. And make sure you subscribe to our channel because we may also be making that announcement on a YouTube video. You pretty much don't want to miss anything because there's definitely going to be some fun new things coming up in November. Okay, let's see here. Any other questions in the chat? Okay, Randy Ramirez, is it normal that my peppers are growing right now instead of going dormant? Randy, it really depends on the weather. Peppers can surprise you sometimes. They're surprisingly resilient. If you live in a warm climate like I do here, my peppers are still going strong. In fact, they're doing better than they did in the hot months. We're getting a ton of new growth on the peppers. If you're getting into cold weather in the 50s and 40s and 30s or colder during the day, and at the nighttime, your peppers are definitely going to start to slow down. But you know what? Ride the wave. If they're still producing for you, don't prune them back hard. Once they, slow down and the weather's definitely in the 50s, even 60s during the day, then that's when you want to look at overwintering. So go back and watch my pepper overwintering video for all the information. So Randy, if they're inside, it could be if you've got enough supplemental light and if it's warm enough in there, you may get some production over the winter time. So it really just depends on your growing conditions. Keeping in mind that they do love the warmer weather. Okay, let's see here. Christmas in November. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for those fun new products. And I think you guys are really going to like them. We've really put some thought into it and it's going to be fun announcing it in just a couple of weeks as soon as it's ready. So I don't want to spoil the surprise. Andrea says the peppers are doing fantastic in Denmark. That's awesome. It's wonderful when you see those warm weather veggies just get that last little kick to it. Angela still has bloom. So yeah, super exciting. A lot of people still having a lot of good pepper production. So that's always great to hear. Okay, let's see here. Any other? Oh, Master Hacker, thank you. I purchased your book and also very nice. There's wonderful tips. So really glad that you're enjoying that, Master Hacker. I really try to incorporate all the tips that I thought new gardeners would enjoy and gardeners that are seasoned gardeners would enjoy. Lots of great information in there. And again, signed copy on my website. It comes in spiral bound on Amazon. Won't be signed from Amazon, but you can get it in spiral bound if you prefer that. And I'm pretty sure they also now have a Kindle version available on Amazon as well. So definitely go over and check that out. Okay, let's see if there's any other comments or questions in the chat here. I'm just going to scroll back through and see. Many cherry tomato plants are indeterminate. Tiny Tim is determinate, right? That's what makes them unique. So Cliff, great point here. Yes, the Tiny Tim is considered a determinate tomato, which basically means that it will produce all of its tomatoes within maybe a month or so time frame, and then the plant will die off. However, I have found that the Tiny Tim, it will grow for months and months, especially if you take good care of it. I seriously thought my Tiny Tim tomato plant that I have growing right now was history. It had tons of spider mites. It had given me production for several months. I trimmed back all of the spider mite damage, and with the weather we've been having, it's getting a second round. It's covered in blooms right now, and I'm pretty sure I'll get a second round. I may even be able to bring it inside and continue growing it when the days get too warm for it. So yeah, it's a great size. It's about 2 feet tall, which makes it very ideal for the house. Okay, Cliff's posting the sale link, so yeah, definitely take advantage of that. Today is the very last day. And let me see if there's any other comments. Okay, Illegal Fall. Hi there. I'm new to this and I'm thinking of growing my own veggies. Great idea. Which of your videos do you recommend for a beginner? Okay, Illegal Fall, I would definitely start with, at this point, the Fall Garden series. 3 things to watch would be the Fall Garden series with cool weather vegetables, the Container Garden series, which is going to teach you how to grow in containers if you don't have a big space, and the Spring Garden series will help you grow warm weather vegetables. And those all show you how to do it from start to finish. So just go ahead and look up all those. They should be on the very front page of my channel. And you can watch those playlists and just kind of binge watch and scroll through all those. You'll have everything you need to know, but you're definitely going to need a copy of my book as well, because then everything will be written down for you. And all the seeds will be over my website, and we try and provide all the resources we can for you to grow veggies from start to finish. Okay, yeah, the Tiny Tim does bumper crops in waves. It's crazy. It is just such an amazingly resilient tomato. Okay, you guys, what a great chat today. It's been a great energetic group, tons of tips and information and sharing going on. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Really appreciate it, and be on the lookout for more videos coming this week. We will be live streaming next Monday. Then we'll be off for 2 weeks, the 16th and the 23rd, back again on November 30th. So make sure you mark those days on your calendar. And hope you guys have a wonderful week. Make sure you get out there in the garden. Make sure you grow something indoors, and come back next week and tell me all about it. All right, guys, talk to you later. Bye-bye.